They called him the weeping prophet. For 50 years, he stood and he defied king after king. 50 years, he defied prince after prince. 50 years, he rebuked the priests. They threw him in a well that was all muddy. They threatened to kill him time after time. You see, we have to speak. We have to fight. We have to not give in to cowardliness. In Revelation 21:8, it says, and there are now no cowards in heaven. The fear of man will always bring a snare. He says, what you do, you might not understand now, but you'll understand in time. Don't let your heart be troubled. Don't go down that path. We fight against doubt that creeps in, and we say, oh God, help my unbelief. There was a lawyer that had a client that was a murderer. They had the murder weapon, they had some film, they had some eyewitness accounts, but they didn't have the body. The body never appeared. They didn't know what this murderer had done with the body. And so the trial went on, and the prosecution gave lots of evidence and lots of good arguments, and it looked like he was winning every step of the way. So the defense attorney, he got clever in his closing statements. And he said, listen, they presented all this so-called evidence, but let me tell you, there was never a murder. There was an assault, there was a fight, there was bloodshed, there was a weapon, there was witnesses, but there was never a murder. In fact, the so-called victim is going to walk into this courtroom in less than a minute. I have spoken to them. They are coming. Their representative is here. And in just a few moments, they will walk in this courtroom. And then you will have to declare, my client is not guilty. That's reasonable. That's a doubt. If they come in this room, clearly there was no murder. And he said, watch, they're coming in 10. 9, and every eye turned and looked at that door. 7, 6. And there's the Lord. He's watching the jury. 4, 3. And the jury is studying that wall, waiting for that victim to come in. 2, 1. Nothing. Nobody came in. And the lawyer said, but you thought he was going to come in. That's reasonable doubt. See, you believe that there was no murder. In that moment, you thought he was coming. So with that, the jury was sequestered, and within just about an hour, they came back with their verdict, and they decided that the accused was guilty. And the lawyer met some of those that had made the decision at a restaurant right afterward and said, hey, I gave that great closing argument. I saw you guys were looking over it. Didn't that convince you? They said, at first we were all convinced. But when we started talking about it with the other jury members, one of the jury members wasn't watching the door. One of the jury members was watching you. And you said everything right, but everybody was looking except for one person, you. When we realized you knew that nobody was coming in, that's what gave it up. And we could talk a lot about Jesus. But do we know Jesus? We could be that speaker in that base that just got a bunch of inflatables, or we could be a real strong tower. You are being fought against today. It's doubt that fights against us. It's the outside world of influence that fights against us. It's a spiritual battle. Lastly, I would say that